Welcome to the Vocational Views channel. Here we will discuss disability issues. Today we will be discussing and talking about narcissistic personality disorder and how to handle your relationship with these individuals or when you interact with them in the community. Narcissistic personality disorder individuals thrive on creating drama. So the main key here is to always try to be neutral tone and eliminate emotional spikes. If you have a narcissist in your life, I have no doubt that you are feeling frustrated, overwhelmed, confused, always manipulated, and you're tired of the constant scheming. It's like they never stop manipulating with you. It's like everything you say can and will be used against you at some point. So, I have some tactics to share with you today to help you be at ease and, well, maybe not so much at ease, but maybe more understanding of your relationship with these individuals, understand the narcissist and how they act, understand their tactics, and so that you can definitely help you navigate the relationship better and be successfully for you. Whether the narcissist is a parent or your boss, a friend, a coworker, partner, or sibling, these tactics and tips I will be giving you today will be extremely helpful. So, let's go through the 5 tips and tactics that I have for you today. Tip number 1: accept that they are unlikely to change. This is the first and most important step for you to understand. A personality disorder is a DSM diagnosis where the traits are nearly impossible to change, even after years of counseling and psychotherapy. Also, there's really no medication for these types of personality disorders. Sometimes they have other mental health issues, and medications can help with that. But when it comes to true personality disorders like narcissistic personality disorder, it's very difficult to change. Basically, their brains are hardwired in this way. Many of you know me, and you know that I am a psychotherapist as well as a vocational expert and vocational counselor with over 20 years' experience helping people with various disabilities. Mostly, I focus on vocational issues. However, I do deal with general mental health as well as coaching to improve people's lives. So, within the situation, when I work with individuals, have someone with individual or family member that has narcissistic personality disorder, boundaries, personal boundaries is a very difficult part of the relationship and it creates a lot of anxiety. And, well, let me tell you this, you know, um, one woman's dating advice was, and I'm sure you've heard that, a lot of women say, I can fix him, I can fix him. But she says that women should, when they go out on a date, they should put like a sticky note on a person's forehead and just says, as is. So instead of them thinking, okay, I like this person for this, this, and this, but this is not so great, but hey, I can fix him later. Well, and it's not really uncommon, particularly among women, that they think they can change someone after the fact, especially when you start dating someone. And so, but when it comes to these types of individuals, again, like I say, they are hardwired. This is pervasive personality issues and behaviors. So when you think I can change this person, basically that's a fantasy thinking. You know, this person, if they truly have narcissistic personality disorder, is as is. And individuals with this disorder are adamantly as is. I mean, you can't make them change anything about certain definitions or certain meanings or certain thoughts that they have. So, I realize we should be putting as is on most people's foreheads, but in particular, if you know someone who has narcissistic traits in your life, you've got to put that sticky note on their forehead to remind you, and that will keep you out of a lot of weeds and stuff. Because once you hit a point where, they're not really rationalizing this or trying to understand this, you have to go with, look, it's as is. I either deal with it under their terms or I need to remove myself from this situation. So it's as is when you talk to this person. When you think about interacting with the person, if they have this personality disorder, it's pervasive, it's enduring, it's unlikely to change no matter what they do, no matter what you do, and there's no therapy or medications for it. There's no way to rationalize or compromise with them. They know only one thing: how to get their way and get what they want. And usually it can be at any cost. So, tip and tactic number two: don't take anything personally. The narcissist will compliment you and make you feel so good when it's in their best interest. And then when it's not in their best interest, they have no problem trashing you. The narcissist will criticize you, to demean you, to belittle you when it's in their best interest. Whatever they need from you, they're going to do it to you no matter what the cost is. Often, going to the negative side gets them higher energy spikes, and so therefore they are usually more demeaning than they are praising. They need the drama, they need the emotional spikes. They will scheme and manipulate others to get these emotional spikes and to get what they want. It really has nothing to do with you. So if you take nothing personally from the narcissist when they say these things, not the good stuff, not the bad stuff, take nothing personally. The narcissist will project onto you what they feel about themselves. So they're likely to call you a narcissist or selfish. What is occurring is they have a thought, a feeling, emotional, or a belief that pops into their head that they're feeling about themselves, but they can't face that. So they're saying you are that. So they project these feelings and thought onto you that you're doing it and it's not them. So don't take anything personally. Tactic number three: you have to set personal boundaries. Do not compromise on your personal boundaries once they're set without good counsel. You have to protect yourself, and personal boundaries is the best way to do it. Because oftentimes you can't just avoid these people or not deal with these people. You will have to interact with them, especially if it's a family member. So it's very important when you're in a relationship with somebody with narcissistic personality disorder or traits that you use your personal boundaries to protect yourself. Remember, the boundaries may not change their behavior and most likely won't, but you can use them to protect yourself emotionally and physically, as well as legally and financially. If your boundaries are structured right, it will protect you from a lot of things. We often want the other person, this individual with narcissistic personality disorder, to acknowledge that it's healthy to have personal boundaries or that it's worthwhile to have personal boundaries. That is not going to happen. The narcissist will take things to the extreme. They will always be testing you and pushing your boundaries, no matter what, because it's all about them. It's all about what they want. You are never going to get a narcissistic person to understand what they're doing wrong. Narcissists don't think they're doing anything wrong. So it leads us back to that as is. When they state certain things, meanings, words, or they're pushing you with stuff, you have to remember you're dealing with a person as is. You're not going to be able to rationalize with them. You're not going to get them to change their mind because they'll never change because they don't think it's their problem. It's everyone else's problem. Everyone's the problem. The environment's the problem. It's all about external locus control, and it's the outside world and outside people that must change, not them. So, I'm hoping everything I'm telling you so far is making sense. I'm going to pause just for a second here because we often have a hard time setting boundaries with individuals. We often don't want to set boundaries with people because of the way we feel about ourselves. Sometimes we have a positive self image of like, I'm always a nice person and I'm caring, and therefore I should always be nice and caring. Or sometimes we have a negative self image, right? So both of those things can contribute to our not setting boundaries. But with these individuals, you have to set the boundaries, you have to be firm, and you cannot compromise unless you get good counsel in when you might could. So let's move on to tactic number 4. This is really true for anyone. If you're dating women, I am sure you've heard them say, I want a nice guy. I want a guy that does X and will do X. But in real life, when you see these girls dating people, that's not the guys that they're dating. The guys that do X and say X, they're turning those guys down left and right. They don't even acknowledge those guys like it never even exists. So these women honestly believe that they want a nice guy. But in reality, it's their behavior. Their behavior is drawn to guys that will not do those things and definitely will never do them consistently. So it's behaviors, not words, with most people. I remember distinctly when I was in graduate school and the professor told me to always believe the behavior, not the words, because there was somebody in my life who had always had the greatest words. They were verbally awesome. They could talk their way out of anything, but their behavior never matched their words. A narcissist knows how to manipulate you and others with words. They are masters at word skills. They are masters at playing and toying with people's emotions. When they get in certain situations, they may say or tell you um, how they're going to change or what will be changing, and it'll be better in the future. But there's no follow through. And if we put more importance into the words we're hearing from them than into the behavior, what we're actually seeing, you're going to get vastly confused and bedazzled, and you won't know where to turn. You've always got to pay attention to what their behaviors. Again, they are masters at bedazzling and bamboozling others, so you have to believe their words. Other than that, we will remain confused and stuck and not accept reality. So believe the behavior, not the words. I think this really applies to everybody, but it's very dramatic when you're in a relationship with a narcissist. And part of this is also you have to realize that your behavior matters too. So if you say, I'm not going to deal with this or I'm not going to accept this type of behavior, you've got to follow through. If you don't follow the through, you're now compromising on your personal boundaries and they now know they can push. We now move to tactic number 5. Validate your own needs. Do not look to the narcissist to validate your feelings, thoughts, or beliefs. When we are in a relationship with someone and we aren't feeling good or we're doing something that maybe isn't seen as all that nice, like we're pulling away and we want to explain to the person, we want them to understand, we want them to understand how we feel. Well, that's probably not going to happen. We need to validate our emotions for ourselves. And to do this, it might be necessary to really shift your focus to a support system that does validate your feelings and desires and wants. Therefore, we can even validate what we want, right? So, validating this stuff for ourselves or through a group that we're with and not looking for the narcissist to validate it, this is a very important step towards healing. Feel free to put in the comments below how you feel about this presentation. If you thought I missed anything or if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you for being here with me today, and I hope today's tactics was very helpful for you.